What's going on, everybody? Today we're replacing the ITB rack in my 2007 Yamaha FZ6. This is my next step in trying to fix the misfire in this engine. Now, I would have liked to have just taken out the injectors and cleaned them, but this popped up on Facebook Marketplace with someone parting out their bike locally, and I got it for a good price, so I said, screw it, why not? Now, I could just swap the injectors and put them in, but I'm just going to put it in. It's simpler just to do it that way. So today, we dive in. Hopefully, we find a solution. That would be wonderful. I've already done a video about pulling out the ITBs. I will be giving you some detail on how you do this, but just to tell you right now, plastic fairings come out, tank comes off, seat's got to come off, air box, it's got to get out of the way, and then we'll catch up there. Before we get into it, please smash the like and subscribe button down below. Now let's go. Okay, so now that we have access to the ITB rack, we have to disconnect the air pressure sensor, the throttle position sensor, and your throttle cables. The top cable can be done from where my hand is. The other cable can be done from around the left side of the bike. And then you have to disconnect your coolant line. So I'd recommend you drain some coolant out of your radiator and then pop these two lines off. Then it's the tricky four of them. They're 3mm Allen heads that hold the ITB rack down to the cylinder head. You reach under the rack here with a finicky 3mm and you can get them all. They're not super tight. They don't need to be super tight. They just have to hold the vacuum and make sure that nothing leaks. So I've got the old ITB rack here with all its wiring and injectors on it, and I got the new ITB rack here. I got to move the wiring harness from this side to that side. Let's get it. So we've successfully swapped over the wiring harness and everything involved for the ITB rack. Now it's just a matter of doing the finicky work to get everything lined up and back where it needs to be. It's always a pain when you move a wiring harness. You always forget something or put something in the wrong spot. Tuck it down. Get down! Ah, there we go. Ah, there we go. Don't love where this is. I got one side in. It was a little harder than I remember in the past of getting these back in there. What I did was I just popped them back out, cleaned off the bottoms that insert into the rubbers, and then I added just a tiny amount of like silicone lubricant around the outside, just wiped it on there, and then it helped to have another person push down here and me push over here and then just push them in. Because what was happening was this one would go in, but this one would be out, and I'd push this one in and this one would pop out, so it was kind of levering over the middle. So it just took two people equally pushing down and it went in. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So the bike's propped up, everything's connected, we've already primed the cooling system and the fuel system. Here goes nothing. Misfiring. You hear it. It drops. Yeah.
As before?
It's the same. Well, that's a painful conclusion on swapping the ITB rack and injectors on my 2007 Yamaha FZ6. It sure was a painful conclusion to not have the ITB rack fix the problem. So I couldn't stop there. I said, screw it, I'm turning off the cameras, I'm just gonna throw in the coils, I just don't wanna film it, I just wanna get it done. Sure enough, threw in the coils, ran the bike, and it actually fixed the problem. It was infuriating because I'd previously checked the ignition coils and they'd spec'd out just fine with the multimeter, even cold and hot like I tested with the hairdryer on them. They didn't show any problem with the resistance. I was kind of dumbstruck that it actually fixed the problem, and it kind of made sense why it did fix the problem because all along I'd been chasing something wrong. It's just frustrating that my multimeter wasn't able to pick up with the resistance test across the coils that one coil was going bad, leaving two cylinders to run. Either way, I got these clips of the bike running so you could check it out. So here's this. can see it's still not misfiring. I've left the idle just a little bit high, just as like a leftover from trying to troubleshoot the misfire. See, under $2 grand, no misfire. And as you can see, the bike runs great. You can pull away from a stop under $2,000, it doesn't misfire and chug, it idles really smooth. Man, I'm so happy to have this done. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride. It means so much that you were here, giving me tips, dropping comments, supporting my struggle with the FZ6. And now I guess the answer to you, if you've got this problem, is check your coils. They're not that expensive to pick up on eBay, used, even that's what I did, and sure enough, it fixed the problem. Now I'm not saying you should replace your coils no matter whether they measure in spec or not, but when you've exhausted all other options, it's not that expensive a part to replace to just rule that out. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for coming along for this mess of a journey trying to sort out why my FZ6 was misfiring. It's been so helpful having you guys in the comments, leaving me suggestions and tips and ideas and your experience most of all. As always, thank you for watching and have a good day.